out of zombies bearing down on her inside, I think, Jesse's house or somebody's house, and her going, "Wah!"
Yeah, that's true. She didn't use the last bullet to end her suffering.
That's right.
She was going to use the last bullet on them.
And so, you know what that means? Zombie Deanna.
Oh, yeah. That cute little haircut.
That could be cool. And that's all I have for the news. So let's talk Making a Murderer a little bit.
Let's do.
All right. I want to know from you. I'm so curious. Do you think Stephen Avery is innocent?
Okay, so here's what I think. I think that they didn't prove either way. Sorry, I know that's very much fence riding, but I don't think they proved him without the shadow of a doubt that he was guilty, and I don't also couldn't feel good about declaring him innocent. So I'm gonna say the jury in my head is still out.
Still out, even though the jury's actually in.
The jury is actually technically in.
So that's interesting. Did you feel that way as you were watching, or did you like me finish it thinking he was probably innocent and then read and learn more stuff?
I thought that he was innocent until pretty much, actually, yeah, I did think he was innocent. I mean, I still kind of think that so many people believe in him still.
Yeah.
That I have a hard time believing that he's guilty. I have, like you, I've seen a lot of things on the internet afterwards, but a lot of things that I've seen have been from like the ex-girlfriend, and to me, she's not a credible character witness because she didn't come off that strong, and she's an ex, and exes are vindictive, or they can be. Mm-hmm. Also, another one was that horrible prosecutor. What's his name? Ken Kratz. Yeah. Ken Kratz, who, by the way, was caught in that crazy sexting scandal. He was the special prosecutor, the DA for Calumet County, and so he's come out and said all these awful things, but really listening to that guy. So no, I honestly don't think that the stuff that's come out afterward has swayed me either way. I think there's a chance he could have done it, but I think nothing's been proven. And I think that what this show has really done is shined a light for good, shined a light on our justice system and the way that it works. I think eyewitness testimony is so fallible that we should probably stop using it in cases such as these. I feel terrible for Brendan Dassey because that poor kid, I feel like he didn't get a fair shake at all.
So you think he's innocent?
There's a good chance. Mm-hmm. I think I would give it about a 60% chance that he's innocent, 40% chance he's guilty. He's certainly not guilty enough to be locked up for life. It was a hard show to watch, and this is the exact kind of show I love. I also love The Jinx. Did you see The Jinx?
No, people are mentioning that one, so I might want to go watch it.
That one is even more compelling. To me, The Jinx is practically perfect. And by the way, The Jinx is in the news recently. The guy behind that, Robert Durst. It was just in the news today. And also I was hooked on Serial. So I love these true crime stories. I think they're incredible and really compelling. And especially these ones that are recent and things are still happening. Even with Serial, just recently, Anand Syed, I believe, was granted a hearing to decide whether his case could go back to trial. So these things are happening now, and there's a lot of immediacy.
Yeah, these I think the documentaries are and Serial, I guess that's a podcast, are affecting this stuff, which is interesting.
Exactly. So, but it's hard for me to analyze it really because it's also true. I mean, the fact that it's a documentary, I have a hard time weighing in more so than with fictional characters. With fictional characters, I feel fine saying whatever kind of shit I want to say.
Right.
But with real characters, I keep remembering,
They're real people.
Mm-hmm, and there's Teresa Halbach. I mean, poor dear. She's she doesn't get a say in any of this. And so I feel terrible. So it's harder for me to analyze real crime than it is to analyze like The Walking Dead.
Zombie crime.
Zombie crime.
Yeah, I mean, there was a good article in the New Yorker just kind of basically shaming all these things, saying this is all, turning somebody's lives into entertainment. And in Making a Murderer, they made fun of the woman from Dateline who was saying murder's hot right now. We want to get the best stories. But they're doing the same thing with the series. They're turning this whole thing into a piece of entertainment, and I was entertained by it. I thought it was so well done, but I also think it was heavily biased. It was obviously from the point of view that Stephen Avery was innocent, even though there were some contradictory things in there. They also left out a lot of things that would have made people wonder even more, and they spent way more time talking to his side of things than the other side. So
right.
It was very much from the point of view that he was innocent. And so you can't really, they painted a picture that they wanted to paint. And then when you go outside and look at some of the other facts about it, and that's what this taught me, is that and I already knew this, you form an opinion about somebody and then you learn new things and your opinion changes, And so especially when they spend 10 hours with all this music and pointing out exactly how they want you to think, you're going to feel that way. And I always quote Katharine Hepburn in Philadelphia Story, the time to make up your mind about people is never. And this kind of goes along with that. But, since we're talking about it, I'll say I agree with you. I don't feel qualified enough to say whether he's guilty or innocent based on what I've seen. But what I did do is I went and watched about 2 or 3 hours of Brendan Dassey's confession, raw confession, unedited. I read. Did you? I downloaded the court transcript and read probably about 300 pages.
Oh my God!
The closing statements of the prosecution and the defense.
Ooh,
and what that showed me is a lot of the stuff that Ken Kratz has been saying wasn't there. They just didn't show it. So like that, Teresa Halbach had been out to Stephen Avery's place to photograph cars multiple times before, and he met her there in a bath towel, and then she went back and told her company that it made her uncomfortable. She didn't want to work with him anymore. And also that he called Auto Trader 3 times that day using star 67 twice so that she wouldn't, it makes it so they can't see who's calling, and that he also requested her specifically that day, that his DNA was found on the hood latch of her car, that he had bought cuff and leg irons recently, that there were bleach stains on Brendan Dassey's pants, that Teresa's phone and camera were found in a burn barrel on his property, that he was violent towards other women. He allegedly raped another girl and threatened to kill her family if they spoke out, and he allegedly molested Brendan Dassey a couple of times, that during a bail hearing, prosecutors said that he'd drawn up diagrams while in prison for a torture chamber to kill women, that they kind of glossed over him saying that he threw that cat over a fire, but he actually doused it in gasoline and threw it into the fire.
Oh God.
That's what happened. That's, on the record. And, then you look at what we actually did see in the movie. His cousin says that he masturbated in front of her. We know he ran her off the road and pointed a gun at her. And he broke into and robbed a bar. We saw that he wrote letters from jail to his first wife threatening to kill her. You look at all that stuff more dispassionately, and it's like, dude, I think he's guilty. I totally do. And
interesting.
Watching all the Brendan Dassey tapes, I could see that being, to me, it seemed like he couldn't have just come up with all that stuff on his own because he was too dumb. I have a feeling that he's also guilty, but you don't know, because then there's this weird stuff about that key just sort of conveniently appearing after 7 days of searching or whatever it was.
Yep.
So. Yep. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like he's guilty, but who the hell knows?
The thing that I think is a really big jump forward for for criminal investigations in this country is all of the science that we're now seeing, all of the DNA evidence. So if there's some irrefutable way to determine whether he did or didn't do it, that would be one thing. There's so many questions, and nowadays you have cameras everywhere. I'm sure that at most places, most junkyards now, there are a million cameras around, and you could see photographic evidence of where people have been a little easier. There's also technology. You're on your computer more, on your cell phone more. So there's way more records around intentional, unintentional, that will make some of these questions go away in the future.
Yeah, I heard some news story. I don't remember the details, but it was something about a town that was starting to use this satellite system?
Yep.
To just keep photographing the whole town, so that if something like this happened, they could have just went back to when Teresa Hallback's phone stopped working and seen her car there at the Averys, and then just went forward a couple minutes to see where it went.
You might be thinking of a Radiolab episode.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, that was a great episode. Really, really good. They used the satellite technology to zoom down with really fine detail in some cities that have horrible crime in other countries. And they're able to figure out where they were, especially looking at one place that was sort of a crime lord's area. And they were able to see exactly where these cars that, were filled with criminals, where they were all going to eventually. And they were able to bust the big drug lord.
Made all the difference in this, even though you sort of think, oh, do I really want Big Brother watching me all the time?
Yeah, I know. That's the other side of it, right? Yeah, no, we don't. But yeah, crazy.
And I also think that it seems unlikely. I mean, I could see one of those cops, if he somehow got a hold of that key, dropping it on the floor, but moving bones and moving the car and everything that it would have taken to do the setup, it just to me seems pretty unlikely. And to time it all correctly and everything, and just she happened to be killed and they took advantage of it. Just seems really unlikely. Right. It seems way more likely that he just did it.
Good. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Occam's razor and all. But, they were very motivated by this giant pending lawsuit that looked like it was going to be ruled in his favor. And that's a pretty motivating thing. What was it? $36 million lawsuit or something?
I read that insurance probably would have covered it. I don't know.
Yeah, but jobs would have been lost.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that if that had really shaken out that way, that they would have been canned, And so there's the motivation right there. It's not hard to think that, wait a second. Yeah, I know, but again, I mean, shadow of a doubt. I just don't.
Yeah, I guess there's a shadow of a doubt.
It didn't convince me.
I mean, beyond reasonable doubt, if I was on that jury, I think, based on all this stuff that I read later, the court documents and stuff, I probably would have said guilty too, and also with Brendan Dassey after watching his confession. But I wouldn't have. There would have been a part of me that would have been, oh shit, did I do the wrong thing? That'd be a tough jury to be on. That you guys have been, or a few of you said you wished that there was a podcast about this show. Well, there were 2 episodes of this podcast that I listened to that were really good and went into a lot of detail. It's called the Generation Why. That's WHY. So if you search Generation Y on iTunes, you'll find those. They're like 2 of the latest episodes.
And I think Crime Writers is another one, and Crime Writers did a couple episodes on this as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
So now go and watch The Jinx.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to check that out for sure.
You're welcome.
Okay. Our next sponsor, Club W. Last time there was a bit of a cliffhanger because we hadn't gotten our wine yet, but now, let me just say what Club W is. So with Club W, you don't have to worry about not having wine because they're a wine club that sends you wine directly to your door. And so you don't have to go to the grocery store and get it. It just comes right to you. Not only do they send it to you, they send you wine that you'll love drinking. And they have this 6-question quiz that figures out your taste so that everybody you receive is tailored to your taste. And then you rate them, and then it refines the algorithm even more based on your ratings and sends you wines more tailored to your taste. So Karen and I got our first batch of 3 wines each, and we promised that we weren't going to drink it until the podcast, right? So you have your bottle with you there?
Yes, I do.
You drank them all.
I actually have. Yeah, it's true. We did.
I'm drinking mine right now.
I have no regrets.
No. It was cool. So I saw you posted on Facebook that you had a party and you did a little wine tasting thing.
Yeah, and we invited 2 of our friends, Jay and Denise, came over, and another, actually, a former NHL player, which is pretty neat. He came over as well. Yeah.
That's hockey, right?
So, yeah, that is hockey. Former famous San Jose Shark. So they all came over, and Jamie knows his wine too. So we all tried it, and Jay used to work for Ridge and J. Lore, and so this guy's a wine connoisseur. He has an extensive wine library, and the guy knows his wine. And so we all tried all 3 bottles, and the verdict was they love them, and they said especially they love the Alchemist, which is the 2014 Paso Robles Red. I think that was my favorite one. It has the flowers on the label. And I've even gone, like the next day, I was so excited about the wines that I went back into my account and I put 5 bottles into my
cool.
basket. Yeah, I ordered two more of the Alchemist Reds. I ordered the white that I loved because it was a great white too, and 2 new reds that I haven't tried yet.
Nice.
So yeah, I can't wait to get my new shipment.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love this. This is great.
Yes.
So Club W is leading what they're calling the grape to glass wine revolution, which means basically they work directly with vineyards and they cut out middlemen, so that saves you money, and they offer a no risk guarantee that you'll love what they send you. So and you know what? Not only do I like the whole experience of getting the wine based on your taste, but it was really, I always say this, but it was packaged really nicely, and it had these really fun cards that were beautifully made, and they have, tell you all about the wine and where it's from, and then you flip it over and there's a recipe for something on the back that would go really well with the wine.
A food pairing.
Yeah. My favorite was this one that they said would go well with chocolate. It has a raw vegan chocolate truffles on the back that look really good.
Right, which we should make for Lucy.
Yeah, we should totally make that. Anyway, so it's just a good experience overall. The website's really awesome too. Right now, Club W is offering you guys 50% off. I didn't stress that enough last time. That's half off of your first order when you go to clubw.com/deadcast. Yeah. So don't ever come home to a house that has no wine in it ever again. Just go to clubw.com/deadcast. You get 50% off your first order. clubw.com/deadcast. Thanks, Club W.
Thank you, Club W. I love you.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, it's our Deadcast Top 5 this time. It's our top 5 favorite things about Lost. In honor of Lost, here's a little clip.
Carl! Lost! Carl! Carl! Carl!
I mentioned that to Harold Perrineau when